In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the hardware connections between the Clavinova and the amplifier and the various speakers that are in the church. Right now, what we're looking at is we're looking at the bottom of the Clavinova. This is underneath the keyboard. This device right here, where it says to device, right now that has got a 2 gigabyte flash drive in it. And this flash drive is a redundant drive that exactly matches the information, the hymns and music that are on the card that is inserted next to the keyboard on top of the Clavinova. This cable right here is the cable that goes to the USB port on your computer. And we use that to transfer information to and from the Clavinova, as well as to play the Clavinova from the computer when we're testing out music. These two ports back here, R and L/L plus R, these are set up and these run, these are the signal from the Clavinova out to the amplifier. And these ports are subject to the volume control knob. These ports are RCA plugs, and this is a fixed level, so you can twist and turn the volume control knob all you want, and nothing will happen. So you always want to be plugged in over here. And these use this really odd port. See what we have on the end here? See if I can get that in there. See what that looks like? And that is a little bit different. And what we have here then is we have an adapter. What we have here then is we have this, and then that's an adapter, and it's got an RCA plug on the back side of it. That fits in up there, and then we have this kind of a RCA plug. And that fits in up there. And then that follows this cable that comes down. And as you can see, that comes down and around and comes out on the back side of the Clavinova. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move out from under the Clavinova, and we're going to head out, and we're going to look and see what else we have got going here. Now you can see where that cable comes out of the back of the Clavinova. We just threaded it through there, and then it makes its way up the back of the Clavinova into this breakout box. And basically that breakout box does is that gives you the opportunity to put other signal sources and send them up to the amplifier at the front of the church. And if you look at the inputs on the back of this, See if I can get this to where we can look at it a little bit. You can see it's actually set up for television. So you can see there's a choice between an S video and a right and a left, or that yellow plug is a composite video signal, and the right and the left stereo signal that you could put in there. And there's one that goes in and one that goes out. And then you can select among the various inputs and outputs over here. And we've got it set up. Here, let me go around. You can see it better from the other side. There we go. Hopefully you can see that it's the AV4 button that's pushed in. So we have AV4 in, and then the output port goes up to the amplifier in the front of the church. And we can see that as we come off the back side of that, come down to the floor and kind of snake around and come out this way and follow it over here to the side of the church, and then up we go all the way to the front. I tried to offer this some protection from people coming in and out of this door. This floor mat here offers some protection for that cable, and I want to make sure that Alice and Phyllis can get in here with their motorized wheelchairs, so it's important that we have that there, that they don't have a problem getting over that. And then you can see it just goes in, and it goes underneath that bottom step, and I then snaked it around, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see it here, but basically it goes in underneath that bottom step, makes its way over to the pulpit, and then here you can see that it comes up from inside the step, comes around this way, makes its way inside the pulpit, and then it joins with all those cables down there, and eventually it enters the back side of that amplifier right there. And it enters and it goes in on the auxiliary port. And you can see, let me see if I can get in there a little bit more close. Okay, let's try this a different way. Yeah, that's better. You can see that the aux is come in, and it's set up for a left and a right and a subwoofer. And then the speaker cables, you can see the speaker cables snake off over here, and they come down and they go underneath, and the speaker cables and the subwoofer cable, and here's the subwoofer. And the thing about the subwoofer, and most of you probably know this, this hole right here, see if I can get that better. this hole right here, that lets the air go in and out. The actual speaker is facing down at this piece of wood. And it's important that that piece of wood were there, because if they were sitting right on the carpet would absorb a lot of the sound. So we want this on something hard. And then we have this nice TV tray, and then there's the one speaker. And I wanted to run the cabling underneath this platform, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. And so it runs, I was able to sneak it behind the pulpit, but you can see, if you look very carefully there, and let's see if we can get this. There we go. You can see how it runs along just right beneath that step. And so it runs along underneath that step until we get to the other side. We get to the other side, it comes up. And then it sneaks around inside the lectern. See how it does that? And then I've got it hidden. And I don't know if we can pick it up, but you can look at the real world thing. It goes around underneath the step, goes back to the back here, and then it comes out and goes over this, and it comes up to this speaker over here. So that's basically how things are wired, and I thought it would be good if you knew how the hardware is. And we're going to go back over to the amplifier now. Oh boy. I'm going to change the lighting on this. There. Okay, here we go. There's the amplifier. This is volume right here. There. Note we have to have auxiliary, which you can see here. It's this button. Where do we go? This button right here is auxiliary. So there's volume. The auxiliary button is punched. And then you look over here and it says auxiliary. And you can't see it very well. Let's see if I can get a little closer. You can see it tells you what speakers there are. You can see left, right, and subwoofer. And there, right underneath the Sony nameplate, is the actual on-off switch. And like a lot of equipment nowadays, it's black on black, so it's very difficult to see, but I think you can pick it up here. The on-off switch for the whole thing. This is on a simple outlet strip. The Clavinova itself is on a uninterruptible power supply, but of course, if the amplifier goes out, your sound is done for. So this is the wiring. Hopefully you'll be able to figure out the rest of it. There's a remote unit for the amp for this receiver. One thing about this receiver, do not put it on FM. It will be very, very loud and very, very nasty, and you won't like it. So stay away from that. At any rate, that's that, I think. Now, with the power off, I have removed the card from the slot. With the power off, I've removed the card from the slot. And in this world where everything's a couple of gigabytes or whatever, it's kind of interesting to note that this has got a whole whomping 128 megabytes on it. And now the way this card works, and note that the power is off on the Clavinova. Okay. You know, I'm going to take the card, and with the, you can see that row of connectors, those shiny golden looking connectors, and those go underneath, and there's a little bevel on the edge there that you can see, and that only allows the card to go in one way. And so the card goes in right there, and you push it in until it won't go anymore, basically. And that's the card that goes in there.